Let's start the video off with the Toronto Raptors. The Toronto Raptors get an A as they gave max extensions to Quickly and Barnes. The Scotty Barnes move gets an A+, as he is showing superstardom. Quickly, on the other hand, gets an A- as the contract may have been a slight overpay. Either way, the Raptors did what they needed, and they get an A. Just like the Raptors, the New York Knicks did everything they needed to do in free agency. The New York Knicks re-signed OG Anunoby to solidify their spot atop the East. Unfortunately, they lost Hartenstein to OKC, but in order to retain him, they would have had to overpay him, which isn't smart. Given the system, though, I think Hartenstein is replaceable, so I don't think it is the worst thing they lost him, so the Knicks get an A in free agency. Speaking of Isaiah Hartenstein, I gave his new team, the OKC Thunder, a B+. If it were an off-season grade, the Thunder would have easily received an A+. But what they did in free agency could have ultimate disaster potential with the iHeart contract. I gave the Hartenstein move a B because the amount of money you are paying him combined with the fact that he may not be playing down the stretch of games is worrisome. You also assured that you cannot trade him if it doesn't work out, as the contract is way too large for anyone to take on. Question marks about the fit combined with the contract, in addition to the knowledge that you will have to pay the young core, makes this move a B, although I am happy they added him. Extending Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins are A+ moves, and that's why the Thunder received a B+. Klay Thompson is a Dallas Maverick, something I never thought I would see. There is an insanely large chance that this move could be an A+, or it could be a C-. Klay Thompson does not have the defensive ability he once had. However, his three-point shooting is something that I do expect him to resurrect in Dallas. Last season was a miserable season for Klay in terms of shooting and overall gameplay. A change of scenery could fix it all, but to factor in him playing in a lineup next to Kyrie and Luka, you must acknowledge that he will be getting the easiest looks he has gotten since KD was in Golden State. Last season, his shot selection and constant forcing of shots is what led to his struggles as Wiggins declined, making Klay the second option once again. Give him easy looks, he will be shooting 40% again. That is why I give this move an A-, as I believe his shooting will be back to normal once he gets his rhythm in Dallas. The minus in this grade is because I do see him potentially butting heads with people, as well as being upset with playtime as he can no longer defend at an elite level, and he may find himself on the bench down the stretch of games. Dallas is also replacing Derrick Jones Jr. with Najee Marshall. Now, many will be upset about Dallas letting Jones walk, but something people are forgetting to factor in is how many times he had to be benched down the stretch of games in the postseason, as he could be an offensive liability if he wasn't hitting his shots. His offensive skill set is extremely inconsistent, and replacing him with Najee Marshall, who is a better defender as well as being someone who can hit a shot, this is an ultimate A+ move. And as a team, I give the Mavericks an A. Klay Thompson's former team, the Warriors, get a C grade as a team. I love all three of their major signings for them. DeAnthony Melton is extremely underrated, and if healthy, he can be an elite player for the Warriors. Melton is an A- grade. Kyle Anderson is also underrated, as he is a great winner and elite role player. His limitations keep his grade at a B, as he struggles to shoot from the outside, and I don't think he can complement Draymond Green well. And the last move was Buddy Hield, who is an elite three-point shooter, and he is a perfect match in this Warriors system. Defense is a question mark, but if he can maximize himself on that end, this is an A+ move. But the reason I give the Warriors a C grade is because the Warriors still did not address the need of size, and no matter what they do, the team will be limited without a size addition. Trades can save their offseason, but as for free agency, they get a C. There are many negatives to highlight with Tobias Harris, but he is a good basketball player, and better than many give him credit for. Unfortunately, the Pistons did overpay him, and a team that needs to focus on wing development added a player that will be demanding the ball as well as being a wing. Overpaying him leads me to land on a D grade. Cade Cunningham's extension is obviously an A though, which rounds out the team free agency grade to a C. An easy A for me is the Celtics during free agency. They extended Derek White and Jason Tatum. They also retained every contributor from the championship run that was a free agent. The Miami Heat are a team that needed to add this free agency, and they only have Alec Burks to show for it. Not ideal for a team looking to contend. It's a C free agency grade, although Burks is a B- move. We still haven't seen some key free agents sign as of this video, and the Cleveland Cavaliers have been linked to some of those players, including Miles Bridges. If they sign him, they will get a better grade on their overall free agency, but for now, it is a B grade. Donovan Mitchell signed an extension, which is obviously an A+ for Cleveland, and all the stress of trading him is done. for 2 years at least. Obi Toppin and Pascal Siakam both re-signed with the Pacers, and I have different opinions on each of them. Siakam is a no-brainer A+, as the Pacers desperately needed to re-sign him, and he is a perfect fit for the Pacers team. Obi Toppin is not so perfect, as they have more depth at his position, including young players that need the time to shine. $15 million a year for the next 4 is not great for the Pacers, leading me to give this move a C grade. The Lakers have missed out on everyone they targeted this offseason, especially in free agency, which inevitably means they get a D on free agency. Some of the targets are questionable though, so missing on them might benefit them in the long run, but I have no clue what is driving players away from the Lakers. But it is certainly an unusual problem for the Lakers to have. It is actually funny because the Clippers are having no problem getting free agencies, as they've been adding players left and right this offseason despite losing Paul George for nothing. Now the Clippers have been adding some players who are questionable given their off-the-court issues and then offensive liabilities, but they are replacing Paul George with depth, which may be good in the long run. Nick Batum re-signed after his half season in Philly, which is an A grade, and James Harden re-signed as well. I am not a James Harden fan, but retaining him was a must, and I honestly thought that he would leave after he heard PG may leave. Either way, knowing Kawhi's reliability, James Harden is going to be the system most of the time. And if there is even a slight chance of him being vintage Harden again, this move will be an A+ looking at the amount of quality role players they are putting around him. An A grade on the Harden deal and a B+ free agency for the Clippers. Paul George is a 76er, and most people are conflicted about it. I am one of those people. The balance of the 76ers' big three is something we have not seen in a while from a big three. A point guard, wing, and a center. A perfectly balanced big three. The problem with this big three is reliability. Paul George and Joel Embiid have injury after injury, which is a constant in every big three we have seen of late. The thing I would like to point out that people have been forgetting about is that Tyrese Maxey is also somewhat injury prone at times. Reliability is the only consistency for the big threes, and the concern I have is already here with it. Adding Andre Drummond for Embiid insurance is a great move, likewise to Kelly Oubre for Paul George, but they still lack Maxey insurance. Considering all of this, I give the PG signing a B, and the 76ers as a team a B+. They do need to add more before I am sold on them as a team, because if I'm being honest, I'm not exactly sold on the 76ers right now, even though they did add Paul George. Big threes to me are kind of getting like meh, because I don't see any difference in this big three outside of the balance from big threes that have been failing of late. That's just my personal opinion. San Antonio made a perfect signing in Chris Paul, as we all know, A+ move and an A free agency grade. Although some fans like the Jonas Valanciunas signing with the Wizards, I dislike it. Look, I understand at the trade deadline he's going to be a sought-after target, but if his play slips, his value slips, and that is a huge risk. They just used their number 2 overall pick on a center. Where's Valanciunas going to play? Because I know you're not about to prioritize Valanciunas over him. So what is this move? Because his value is destined to slip. I don't understand it. It's going to slip. I don't know why they would do this. So until he is traded, I give this move a D, and my overall grade for the Wizards is an F, because they did not try and add any young players on the market to try and develop. That's where their money would have been better off spent. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope pulled off an ultimate finesse job by signing a $66 million contract for 3 years with the Magic. I cannot believe that they gave him that much money. I know he's a veteran presence they need, but they needed shooting, and if you watched him this postseason, his three-point shooting looked a little suspect. There is a massive risk here, and giving him an untradeable contract is not great. He is not a bad fit at all, though. I just wish they spent their money better. Malik Monk and the Kings made a great decision staying together on a team-friendly contract that is honestly a steal. This allows them to have flexibility in the trade market as well as free agency. Meaning, this move is an A+ signing. Unfortunately, they did not sign anyone else impactful with this new flexibility, meaning the Kings get a C+. Given what I see from the Bucks, they are making the best of a bad situation in terms of money. Taurean Prince and DeLon Wright are two great value defenders, but the Bucks need to figure out how to get a true defensive stopper on the perimeter, or else this is Giannis's last season in Milwaukee. Last but certainly least, my Phoenix Suns. I have seen so much criticism about Royce O'Neal being re-signed, and I don't know why. Sure, he may have slipped statistically, but he is a dog, and that is what we need on this team. A- signing, and Mason Plumlee is an A- as well because he is a great backup option at the 5. Monte Morris needs an A because he is a great point guard that can space the floor and play make, which is exactly what we need. Overall, I do have to give my Suns a C, as we could have added a better player or players instead of the ones we got. I'm not complaining though, at least we did something. But Kyle Lowry is still a free agent. If we don't sign him, I'm going to be very upset. We do ranking videos and tier list every Friday, so if you want to see last week's, it's on the screen right now. Y'all stay safe, have a good one, don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.